Welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to a Safeway parking lot here in Salida, Colorado. Now, we're in Salida, Colorado because Rivian is launching their Adventure Network, a DC fast charging network, and this is station number 1. The first station about to go online in about 2 hours time from right now. We'll be plugging in our Rivian right down there as the first customer to ever charge on the network. I can't wait to show you around this little launch event that they have planned here. Of course, plug into the network. I'm going to get all the nerdy details about the dispensers, the power cabinets, and then we'll talk about some locations to come. But for now, let's explore a little bit of the location here in Salida as they're just about to get the party started just behind me. So we are at the launch of the first DC fast charger. And what is the location Rivian chose for their first DC fast charger? Maybe a mountaintop that only a Rivian R1T could get to with its crazy articulating suspension, or a unique destination? It's a Safeway grocery store if you pan over this way. And it's actually a fantastic spot because Salida, Colorado is actually known for some of the best mountain biking, rafting, water activities, beautiful views that is ideal for having an adventure. And what I like about Rivian's strategy, not only with the truck, but now their charging network, is it's designed to get you out into nature. The best tool for the job is a silent electric vehicle to get you closest to nature possible when you're in a wheeled vehicle. And we have certainly had a blast off-roading our truck. Come on down with me as we talk a little bit more. And the charging network's taking a very similar approach where they're going to have DC fast chargers designed to get you to places you would want to go as a Rivian owner. And well, this is Salida, Colorado. I can't believe the first one's kind of opening right in our backyard here in the mountains of Colorado. So excited to be here, of course. There's our truck just there on the left. It's at 10% state of charge, so we're all warmed up, ready to get the max speed. This is the little event that they're having right here, and let me walk you through the installation. So some other Rivian owners here, of course. Rivian Dad is the white truck right there. Very much recommend you subscribe to his YouTube channel if you haven't yet. We got, there he is, Scott's over there. If you're into Rivians and you're not subscribed to Rivian Dad, subscribe right now. So let's talk about strategy. Right here, you're seeing a level 2 charging station. This is AC charging, and it's open to any electric vehicle. These are called waypoint chargers. They have them at national parks, and now to supplement the DC fast charging installation here, it says it's free to charge and it'll do 11.5 kilowatts, which I think is 48 amp at 208 volts. So business voltage, you can come here, charge for free, level 2 up your vehicle, and that's great. Come on down with me over this way while I show you a little bit more about it. So this is, again, in the back of a Safeway parking lot. It's a really cool spot. This whole wall on the right side is actually going to have a mural painted. We can see the outline right here. And usually Rivian works with like local artists and things like that. So I imagine that's sort of the strategy. We have 2 Rivian factory vehicles here that are not customer trucks. I do want to have the first customer vehicle to ever charge on the Rivian Adventure Network. That'd be like having the first Tesla to ever use a supercharger. So I think our plan is to have the 3 of us, there are 3 customer Rivians, all plug in at the same time, which will be a blast. This is what we came here for. If you look just over this way, these are the DC fast charging dispensers. We'll get into the nerdy details here in a little bit. They're just taking some photos and stuff. And there's actually one just over this way I can show you a little bit more up close. This is a fully plug-in charge capable DC fast charging unit that can charge the truck at maximum 220 kilowatts right now is what the trucks can do. Really cool units right here. I believe all manufactured in-house by Rivian in Normal, Illinois. So come on over here. Here's our dispenser. Very similar to like an EA handle or something with this plastic design, but this time black. You can see just the communication pins right here, so they don't have the AC charging. DC charging pins underneath. It says this one is free, stay adventurous. So I can't wait to be trying these out. The strategy for the charging network, by the way, is you have a grid connection which feeds the power cabinets over here. You can split them into 3 different dispensers, A, B, or C. So they're numbered and lettered just like a version 2 supercharger or even version 3s are. So for example, 1A and 1B at this particular location are power shared. And we're going to be playing around with all of that here in just a moment. So I can hear our dogs barking in the truck. Let's go make sure they're okay, and then we'll get back to filming some more.
We got quite the mix of weather, but we lucked out today. So I'm glad everybody could come and see the trucks. First, I want to introduce Mayor Dan Shore.
They don't have tailpipes, there's no emissions, but we can't say the same thing about the grid today, right? The grid still has emissions, so that means we need to go further, we need to do more. And that's why our charging networks are powered by 100% renewable energy. And that's easy to do in some places and harder to do in others, so we have a multi-pronged approach to do this. Fantastic ability to go and adventure in places.
I'd love to thank Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund for sponsoring today's video. They are giving away a Rivian R1T Launch Edition. Not this one, you can't have mine, but they actually already have theirs in their garage. So if you win the raffle, you could take delivery immediately of a Rivian R1T. Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund is doing a lot of work for sustainability and for cleaning up the US's climate. It's a really important fund, and I encourage you to go down to the link in the description below. It's a $200 entry fee. There's only 5,500 tickets available. It runs through the end of summer. Go in there and earn your chance to win a Rivian R1T. If you don't want a Rivian, by the way, you can get up to $130,000 in Tesla credits. So if you want a maxed out Plaid, you can go for that too. So click the link in the description below to help a great cause and to earn your chance to win a Rivian R1T Launch Edition that's available right for immediate delivery. So a great group of people here. You can see some food and drinks, and they brought some Rivians along with some accessories on it. Just a great little first speech here given by some notable people, head of charging, the mayor of Salida, etc. There's some Rivian employees that live here actually, and they got a whole bunch of Rivian branded waters in the back of a R1T over here, which is great. So here's Scott. Just a great little launch event, really, really nice. And yeah, everyone brought their dogs, which is awesome. Our dogs are just hanging in the truck. You can see Ellie's getting some snacks from Alyssa back there.
You want to go up there? Can you go up there? Yeah, I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Here's what the completed charge looks like. It says complete, added kilowatt hours. This one's free. I imagine when they start building or billing for charging, maybe early next year, something like that, that will give you a price at the end with an idle fee, I would guess, I hope. We'll see, but there you go. And it looks like they have, this is the charger number right here, 64B78H2A, which this one is labeled 2A. There you go. Pretty sweet. Before we plug in our trucks, I wanted to walk you through some nerdy details about how the whole thing works. And I'll break this up into chapters, so if you're not crazy technically minded, you can skip this bit. But I do want to bring your attention to this. This is not ours. This is the Rad Wagon. We call it the Suburban, the long wheelbase. And we actually are turning ours into a camera bike to film for our Scoots channel. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Out of Spec Scoots, there's your little plug. Now that the weather's nice, we'll have more videos coming on that channel, all micro-mobility from electric lawnmowers to bikes like that. Okay, this is gonna get a little complicated, so I'm gonna walk you through the entire charging strategy from Rivian and what the stations are gonna look like and how they've come to be, because it's truly fascinating. It's really, really good stuff. When you roll up to a charging station in your Rivian at the moment, you will reach what I call a dispenser. And these are off-the-shelf cables that they've purchased from H. First letter of the word starts with H, second is S. Basically, same cables as EA, but the Gen 2 version, which means you can actually replace the temperature sensor in here. We run into a lot of EA stations that have derated, right, that get not max charging. A lot of it's due to the sensors breaking inside the cables. This one, fully replaceable, so easy serviceability. I believe, and I'm not totally sure, that the local like Rivian service centers are also going to be servicing these, although that has not been confirmed. I'm not sure. Full 500 amp capable handle. Actually, could probably do a little bit more. Liquid thermal management in here, which is great. They run a dielectric fluid because the cooling actually touches the copper pins inside of the handle here, so it's not glycol, and it actually does, I guess there's a pour point, right, where essentially it gels up. That's basically freezing, so there's heating blocks in the bottom of this unit that heat up the fluid. The active charging will also warm it up, so in the winter time they actually have to heat the coolant, which is kind of interesting. Above 125 amps on these cables, the cooling system will kick on, so anytime you pull in and you're getting, you know, big charging speeds, you'll hear the cooling kick on. The cable itself comes with its own fan, but their own pump for the coolant, but they've added extra fans in here. This is all built internally by Rivian. Really, really sweet. What else should I tell you about that? Cable is, I believe, silver-plated copper connections on the DC pins. This thing can just rip 500 amps all day long. bless you, Alyssa, you're never really going to see a cable derating more or less from temperature. So that's the nice thing about these chargers. They can rip. The dispensers are solid. They're broken up into, and they're labeled over here, 1A, B, and C. Here at this particular location, there's only 4 chargers. So what they've done is they've done a 1A and B, and then a 2A and B, which is very similar to like version 2 Tesla supercharging, except the entire cabinet, we'll just speak in broad numbers, can output 300 kilowatts. It's actually 750 amp continuous and peak spread across how many cars you plug in. So if you're the only Rivian here, you can get, max the truck can pull 220 kilowatts today. If there's another car charging on your same cabinet, you'll get 150 kilowatts. If it's one where there's an A, B, and C, you'll roll up, assuming all trucks are pulling 100 kilowatts, you'll get 100 kilowatts. Worst case, you'll never get less than 100 kilowatts at a charger like this. Again, unless you've derated in your charging profile, your truck's cold or hot. But I'm just saying, assuming all conditions are right, the truck can take everything no less than 100 kilowatts. That to me seems a bit low, kind of annoyingly low. I don't want to roll up to a station and get locked into 100 kilowatts. There's ways around this. The first off, you have to look at the usage map. Not everyone's going to be pulling max speed all the time. Inside these cabinets are 6 50 kilowatt bricks that are spread across. If you have a guy that's full charging, well, they're going to take 5, or he would normally need, multiple bricks. He's just going to be using one of those 50 kilowatt bricks. So the rest of the charging will pretty much be available to you. So other people's usage has less of an effect on you. The reason you need multiple bricks is because when you charge a Rivian, you actually need to match the pack voltage to dump in current. So it's not fully variable. It's done in 50 kilowatt stages. And again, 6 in here, all thermally managed, looks great. The nice thing about this particular spot is there's a pull through. So if you have a trailer like this, you can pull up and plug in. Love that. I think they're going to try and do pull throughs at almost every station, which is really great. Don't, quote me on that. I'm not totally sure, but I think that's how it goes. All of the software running this entire thing is not borrowed from another EV charger manufacturer. This is all done in-house, software from the ground up, completely by Rivian. So that to me is really, really impressive that they have just, and we've spoken to some of the engineers here and we've been nerding out and it's great. And they basically are, basically the best and the best from across the industry, guys, ex-Electrify America guys, ex-General Motors guys, even like back from the EV1 project days. And yeah, just really the right team doing this charging solution. My only issue, I think, with this entire setup is the A, B, and C split down to 100 kilowatts. Not the end of the world, but still, this station's not going to be bad down to 150 where they have an A and B. I wish they would stick with that type of strategy. Anyway, that's some of the nerdy stuff. Let me show you the cabinets over here. Again, all built in-house by Rivian. Everything's UL approved and certified, which is great. Just to give you some details, if you come on over here and zoom in right over here. So again, you have 448 amps coming in from the grid up to 920 volts. So that leaves room for, future, maybe higher voltage applications, 750 amp continuous. The thing with the charger to keep in mind is there is a power curve. So you can't do 750 amps at 920 volts. There is a total power limitation, which again is right around 300-ish kilowatts on these. By the way, just some of the testing they've done on these, they've basically put these in temperature chambers of 50 degrees Celsius, and they've run full 500 amps on these cables, these units, no thermal derating after 6,000 hours, some crazy amount of time. It just seems like they've been stress tested to the max. They're going to work well in the real world. We're going to test it, of course. We'll share with you if they do or don't. And man, I'm honestly really impressed with the strategy, the design. In terms of charging station safety, they're going to be lit. I think we could see a little bit more improvement from a camera monitoring situation. Again, we're not really seeing many issues today, but I still think an emphasis on safety from Rivian would be really good. Other than all of that, screen, they've done UV testing, so this should hold up over time. Beautiful color, so this whole thing lights up green, this like outer ring when it is charging. I think that's most of the nerdy stuff. Anything I'm leaving out, Alyssa?
I'm not a nerd.
She's not a nerd. Okay. Anyway, I'm pretty impressed. Oh, one last thing. I made a suggestion, and I think they're already working on this because they kind of smiled when I said this, that the truck should suggest which one to plug into for max speed. Because you don't want to plug in on 1B if someone's already charging on 1A, similar to version 2 superchargers where you leave a gap. And I hope that the trucks will have that deep level of integration to say, oh my God, someone's charging, at 220 kilowatts over there at 1A, you should probably go to 2B or 2A just to maximize the total site power output. Other than that, just thrilled, pleased. Everything's beautifully installed. The units are great. We'll see how well they hold up over time, but call me impressed. I think the only thing left to do now is to pull our truck over here. All right, we're just getting in position. We got to move their trucks out of the way, and then Scott, Ryan, and I are all going to plug in at the same time and be the first customers to ever charge on the Rivian Adventure Network. To me, I equate that to like the first Teslas to ever charge on the Tesla Supercharger network.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting.
It's going to be so anticlimactic. Plug, charge. Great.
And then go straight back home.
But we're down to 6%. We're running the AC max, so we should just I'm just going to try and ride this thing and stress test it.
Yeah, and actually the AC has stayed on this whole time, and the dogs have been in the truck.
Kept the passenger seat, driver's seat buckled.
Yep.
So we are plugging into the pull-through station, which if you come around to this side actually says priority for vehicles with trailers, and it says please move vehicle once charging is complete. So what we're going to do is get everyone in position. Come join me out over this way. We're going to take a look at Scott and Ryan's truck, and I think we're going to do a big 3, 2, 1 plug in. So well, what state of charge are you at?
38%.
Ah, very cool. And then so you and I will be sharing on the same cabinet. Because that's 1B, we're on 1A, and then you're down pretty low.
12%.
12%, so you should see full peak speeds.
Okay.
So we'll try that out. So let's do a big 3, 2, 1 and slide them in.
3, 2, 1, woo!
In we go. Actually, I think I beat them by half a second.
Oh yeah, so you were the first. God.
Very cool. So let's see what happens now. So communications happening at some time. It says just a moment. This one is free. Stay adventurous. Very nice. And yeah, not the biggest fan of free charging. I think it incentivizes poor DC fast charging behavior, but at least for now, it is the way it is. So ours is starting, and hey, we're all charging all at the same time, which is great. The unit's gone green, which is very nice. You may have seen a rainbow color early on. You actually don't see that in person. It just comes up on camera. Here we are, 45 kilowatts. We're sharing with Scott, so we should see 150 kilowatts right now, doing a nice slow ramp up. And take a look at this. Cooling fans are on. Cable cooling's kicking on. Interesting, cable cooling comes on after charging is started. And we should see 150, 142 is where it seems to be leveled out. It says added kilowatt hours. In my impression, this should be delivered because this is what's flowing out of the handle itself. So that's just a terminology thing. We're gonna hound them until they fix it and say delivered. But man, look at that. 143 kilowatts, pretty much maxing out our space. Let's go look at Ryan's truck over here though and see how much he's doing. The whole Rivian charging team is here, which is great, by the way. Everyone is so awesome. Again, total experts on their team. We're also at pretty low pack voltage. At 38% state of charge, I can see he's doing 147, 148, so that makes sense. For the same amount of amps, he'll get a bit more juice. Let's run over this way.
We're waiting for it.
This one's full charge at 100%. This is one of Rivian's trucks. And Ryan has this really cool matte clear film wrap, and he's doing 197 right now, 198, and ramping up from there. So pretty sweet to see. We're definitely juicing. Finally, the first ever people to charge on the Rivian Adventure Network. That's a historic moment. Scott, we did it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was awesome, dude.
I know, Ryan.
So cool. Bring it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Well, no, that's pretty good. So 200 kilowatts on this one, which
198.
we should see about 220 as pack voltage comes up.
Okay.
So right now it's 500 amps. As you come up, 420, 30, 40 volts, you'll see a little bit more. So that's maxing it out. Let's listen to the fans. So we have fans underneath here.
My hours are two different rates. So we're about
you're at a higher
150.
state of charge.
We're split.
Yeah, but you're
150 each.
higher state of charge.
Okay.
And so you have more pack voltage for the same amount of current.
Okay.
Yep. Let's run over this way. So Let's check on our truck here in a second too. Everything's screaming in here. Man, really nice sound, isn't it, Alyssa?
Yeah, this is a lot quieter.
So much less annoying than other insert brand here charger. Let's go take a look at our truck. So we're maxing out cabinet 1 and not quite cabinet 2. But it, again, 750 amp capable per charging cabinet, but CCS is limited, or the trucks are limited to 500 amps right now. Here we are, 147 kilowatts. We've added 7.2 kilowatt hours. Love it, love it. The way it should be. So, first one's to charge. Look, the dogs are in there too, juicing up.
Puppies.
You happy, Blue? First dog to charge. So just some of my final thoughts here behind the camera. I love the location right along a bike path, walking path here in Salida, right downtown. You can see I'm juicing up here in the spot meant for trailers. Again, if you have a Rivian, you still may have to use this for power sharing reasons, but definitely recommend using those and save this for the guys with trailers or bike racks that can't necessarily come on over here. Granted, the charge port is in the front, so it's not as big as of a deal as it is with the Tesla World. We're just pegged at 149 kilowatts right now as our pack voltage has come up a little bit. And, you know, sharing with Scott, doing 149 kilowatts, maxing out one of those cabinets, 100-degree heat almost out here. Well, at least that's how it feels. I think the truck showed 105, but I think it's closer to probably 80 degrees or so. And just so happy to have plug-in charge capability, to have free charging, at least for now, as a test bed, I think works pretty well. And finally, the Rivian Adventure Network is open. I think I shared most of my thoughts, most of the nerdy details for you guys. 2 more stations open up tomorrow and the next day in California, in Kern and Bishop, the 28th and 29th of June. And here we are, maxing out the location here in Salida, Colorado. What an absolute blast. A huge thanks to the Rivian team for not only sending their nerdy charging engineers out here. It's a big day for these guys who have been working on this project for 3 years or so, which is also an astonishing feat to get this from pencil to install in 3 years, and to get everything UL certified, etc., permitted, installed in the ground. Big, big deal. Plan is for 600 stations across the US. We'll see how that goes, but at least for now, we have 4 DC fast charging dispensers here in Salida. And yeah, just massive thanks to Rivian, to their colleagues, the team, everyone here. And we'll see you on the next video soon. Our truck is ripping the fans because we got the AC maxing out for the dogs. New tint on this, by the way. And yeah, we'll make a whole video about lots more to do with our truck before we head off to Europe later this week. So expect some more videos from here in the US. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Goodbye from the Rivian Adventure Network location here in Salida, Colorado.